just jettisoned.
Hey there, this is the Small Stuff Podcast. My name is Kyle Roebuck. This is the intro. Let's start the show.
Ooh,
Yeah.
intro.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you ended up going with that one.
It's gonna get better. It's just I didn't have time to make like the real one yet. So that's gonna be the intro for what we're gonna try to do. I think. Are we doing it?
I mean, we're here, so I guess we are doing it.
I think we said we were gonna do it. I don't know. If we're not, you guys are gonna find out because there's not gonna be another one of these monthly. But we're thinking about doing nerd stuff monthly as a series on the podcast. So like
The name may
change.
negotiable.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just made sense to me.
A lot of nerds don't like being called nerds.
Oh well.
It's kind of taboo.
Is it really?
I don't give a shit. But yeah, there's
Yeah,
an
yeah,
argument
yeah.
about how. So in the 80s, everybody that was just into stuff that everybody's into now were called nerds, but it was in a derogatory way. So a lot of them grew up with bad feelings about the word nerd. And then there's a whole argument about what are nerds and what are geeks, because most people, according to definition, actually refer to them in the exact opposite ways. They call geeks nerds and nerds
I
geeks.
consider a nerd somebody like me or you or Bryton or anybody who's into the stuff that we're into.
See, like by definition, a nerd is like a scientist that grows up and does math and loves science and all that. So I am
That's
a nerd.
that's a geek to me.
And
that's
by
why they
definition,
switched.
a geek, by definition, is somebody that's into fandoms and fantasy things and sci-fi. But
Maybe-
everybody calls them the opposite. So
See, I thought about geek stuff, but it sounds like Greek stuff, and I'm not into that. You know, not the food, not the frat life. No,
yogurt with strawberries on the bottom.
I'm cool with yogurt.
A Greek yogurt bangs. That's a first and foremost.
I like strawberry.
And
on the
Mediterranean food? You ain't into Mediterranean food?
Well, I had a bad experience with like some lamb kebabs one time. I mean, they just tasted kind of gamey. So no, I'm not really. I mean, Zoe's Kitchen is okay, but
Man.
nah, I'm all right.
Fucking Yaba slaps.
Yeah, I love Yaba, Bettini,
I haven't been to Yaba.
Simply delicious.
Habibi. They're all great.
I haven't been to any of those. That one place ruined it. Anyway, so Josh and Bryton are here. If you hadn't guessed yet, and again, we're gonna talk about. I don't know what would you call it if it's not nerd stuff. What is it? I don't know what to call it.
Well, I assume for the most part we're going to talk about Marvel.
Well, yeah, but I didn't want to call it Marvel stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
Because we're going to talk about DC stuff
We're going
too.
to talk about anything that's popular at the moment. It's just
Yeah.
right now about 90% of that is Marvel.
That's true.
Marvel
That is very
dominates.
true.
But yeah, as time goes across, anything that's has fandoms, a fan base that's in the sci-fi, fantasy, pop culture,
Yeah. So,
whatever.
Pop culture stuff? No,
no.
I don't like that either.
Because it's not always
We'll figure it
pop
out. We'll work.
culture
If you
stuff.
guys have ideas,
Yeah, you can't
send
see
them
pop
our
culture
way.
by itself. But
that-
like Marvel is the
that's a
biggest
big
pop culture
umbrella.
event there is right now. So it is pop culture,
But-
but
Marvel Cinematic Universe is. Marvel Comics still really isn't. There's not as
True,
much.
we'll workshop the name and the intro. Whatever. You may have noticed on that intro, like the normal music started to come through. It's just because I was like, I didn't have time to like make a real one, so I just took the old one and just slapped some other music on the end of
So
it.
do you have an outro with this?
No, we'll have to figure that out in post. So sorry about that.
kind of Tron there.
Yeah.
Some 80s.
Yeah, he told me when I played it for him like way back, like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, he's had like 2 or 3 weeks to work
I'm
on it.
busy, and I wasn't sure when we were going to do this again. And
Yeah.
I meant to do it today, but then today was fucking crazy. So
Yeah, somebody's been super fucking busy the past week and a half.
I have been.
Is it me or him?
Oh well, yeah,
Yeah, I've been crazy, man.
yeah. You like the new house
Bought a house, got sick.
with a cold,
Yeah,
right? That's gone now.
correct.
Not the Rona.
I had a fever for like 18 hours, and then it went away. I got a little sniffles left, but
Yeah.
I hadn't had a fever in over 2 days, so I'm good.
So,
Just conveniently enough time to cancel our plans.
I tore something in my leg. My shoulder was hurting.
you're getting older, man.
Yeah, I know.
Well, moving out of a 3-story apartment will really
Ew.
fuck you up.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Me and Crystal
was a-
specifically were like, we do not want stairs.
It was a bitch.
You know, other than moving, I prefer it. You don't hear anything. There's no bugs. There's no mice. There's like
because you're on the top.
yeah. Everything's fine up there. It just sucks when you're moving. I hated the day I moved in and the day I moved out. Everything in between was all good. Cookies and cream, baby.
That was a weird voice. All right.
Was that like some attempt at Austin Powers?
No.
That's what it sounded like. It sounded like a really bad Austin Powers.
Anyway, so what do we want to talk about first? Shang-Chi?
Man,
in order, should we do Shang-Chi?
I was about to say, if you want to hit it all.
I meant to watch the latest episode of What If.
What? That's
What
what I
the
wanted to talk about more than anything. It's
Oh, God.
amazing.
Can we
It's the
stop?
finale.
Can we stop this?
How long is it?
It's 40.
Oh, fuck.
Well,
Should we
without
stop,
credits, it's like
watch-
30, but
Watch the episode and then get back to this.
unless you want this thing to be 30 minutes shorter.
Yeah, whatever. You guys can spoil it for me. It's fine. So the one before that,
Are you sure? It's a two-parter. So you saw
Yeah.
the first half.
You saw-
of
I
the
saw
finale.
Visiontron.
Yeah,
Basically, the finale's an hour and 10 minutes, and you saw the first half.
Okay.
it's
all right.
Ultron. Yeah,
Yeah,
Ultron.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't care. You guys can talk about it. It's whatever. I'll watch it.
Well, I haven't seen Venom. Y'all can talk about that because...
Fair trade. Fair trade.
Yeah.
Bryton's the
Yeah,
only one
okay.
here who's seen
Oh
everything.
yeah,
I meant to watch it when we got done with the movie tonight.
keeping caught up.
And then I just ended up cleaning this up while I was trying to not end up on the floor because of my back.
Yeah, I thought I had time to go watch Venom on Tuesday, but I was sick on Monday, so I was so far behind I didn't get a chance Tuesday to do it.
So let's start with Shang-Chi then. Something we've all seen. Shang-Chi, excuse me. I'm from Belvoir.
We said it simultaneously.
Literally
which
for
is
37
creepy.
years of my life, based on the comics, I said Shang-Chi, and then it comes out and I started hearing pronunciations. And I was like,
Shang-Chi. Yeah. You got to put your tongue in the back of your throat. Anyway, so better than I was expecting.
yeah.
Not gonna lie.
Oh,
It was so good.
it was so phenomenal.
I was a little worried they were going to white people making a movie not about white people. Does that make sense?
It wasn't overly white people either, though.
That's the thing that saved it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I was worried that it was going to feel pandery.
Right. And it didn't.
Not at all. I loved it. I loved that like the first 30 minutes of the movie are in not English. I was going to say Chinese, but I'm not. I think it's Chinese. Chinese, right? Mandarin? Okay, sorry. Whatever.
Which nobody would be pissed at calling Mandarin Chinese except for Chinese and Mandarin.
Right.
But because
I don't think we have any listeners in China, so
well, not
Not
anymore.
anymore.
I loved it so much that let me just say what I didn't like about it because that
spoilers,
is
by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers for a lot of shit.
Spoilers.
for
So,
everything that we're gonna say for here on out.
Yeah, if you
Because
haven't,
we're gonna be talking about Shang-Chi, Venom,
What if?
post credit scene,
Yeah.
and what if finale. So
Yeah.
okay.
So Shang-Chi.
Yeah, I liked it so much. It's easier to just start with what I didn't like. I didn't think the humor perfectly landed the first 15 or 20 minutes. And then as it continued, they started to build on the previous things that they had said that I didn't think was that funny.
Right.
But they kept building on it. So by the end of it, I thought it was hilarious.
Callbacks are great.
Yeah. I legit
I
didn't
feel like
think I was...
callbacks are underappreciated too. A lot of the time.
I am super picky. Bryton can tell you this. I'm really picky about humor in movies because it's not that you have to pander to my type of humor. I just feel like a lot of times there's something that clearly is not funny, does not land, and people are like, they'll find it funny anyway, even though it doesn't feel real.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's my type of humor or not. I just want it to feel like something that actually would happen or so over to the top that it's not supposed to make sense for real life. Like I like humor that's super silly and dumbass, or it fits in the real world.
Mm-hmm.
And I get real picky when it's kind of that in between. And they started that way where I was like, 20 minutes into it, I'm starting to get the flow of it. Loved everything about it.
Yeah.
And I even forgave the fact that I didn't like the humor at the beginning.
Yeah.
I loved everything.
The first thing I can remember being funny is the bait and switch they did, where he gets up in his apartment. You're not really paying attention to like what his apartment looks like. You're just seeing him get up out of bed, and you're like, oh, that's the kid from like the flashback of a couple minutes ago. And then he pulls up. You think he pulls up at the hotel in the Ferrari, gets out. It's playing the dope ass music, and the keys get tossed, and it's him. Mm-hmm. That was funny.
Yeah,
I thought that was really funny. I thought, what was the girl's name in the movie?
Aquafina.
I know it's Aquafina, but I can't remember what her name specifically was.
Yeah. I don't remember. Anyway.
I remember it was a very American name because she even gets told like, "Hey, what's your Chinese name?"
Right. I think Josh is looking it up.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull it up.
She was very funny. She was a bit cringy at some points, but I think she was like the like Sid in Ice Age.
Aquafina is one of the greatest. I regard Aquafina as like
Katie.
Katie, that's right.
I prefer
Aquafina spelled differently, but that's how you say it.
That's
not her real name.
No.
But that
is
is
like a stage
that's her
name?
rap. Yeah. That's her rapper name.
Yeah.
She's a rapper?
Yeah.
Huh?
Fucking great.
Is she good?
Yeah.
She does everything.
Wow.
She's an actress.
She seems like she'll stand up. Yeah.
Stand-up comedian, actress.
I regard her as one of the best comedians.
Really?
She's like best female comedians.
She's good.
I think she's one of like as far as like I don't know if on my long list of comedians I would put her at the top 10, but as far as female specific comedians, she's in the top 10 for me.
You know, like there's the Dave Chappelle's, George Carlin's, Richard Pryor's that are just the master of it. She's not a master of it, but she's so just goofy and you connect with her that you laugh along with her. You're like,
She's like, so for me,
she makes me laugh, but she's not like a master stand-up
right. For me,
comedian,
that person is not that I'm a stand-up comedian by, I just enjoy it.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I think that person for me is Joe Rogan. I don't find his stand-up that funny. Like I just don't. It's not my thing. It's not my style. Some of it is fucking hilarious, but somebody who is like spot on every single time for me is Tom Segura.
Yeah,
he
I love
is
Tom Segura.
Fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Anyway, Shang-Chi,
Can you name a female comedian?
his wife, Christina Push. I don't know her whole name.
Sheesh.
Yeah. Her Whitney Cummings.
Whitney Cummings is hilarious.
Nikki Glazer is queen.
Yeah.
She is hilarious. Great at being mean. And I love that. She's probably my favorite female comedian.
Oh man,
is
you
Nikki.
just made me think of the Queen of Mean.
Lisa Lampanelli.
Yeah, Lisa Lampanelli.
She was good.
She's good at her insults.
She was good for her time. That's what that gesture
good.
showed.
Yeah. I mean, if I listened to her now, I don't think I'd find her as funny just because she was big in the same time. At the same time, Cat Williams was really big.
Yeah.
And who's another one? Like Greg Giraldo. All those guys. Like
he had his heyday.
Yeah. Like they were all big at the same era, and I think it was just a different style of like they didn't. I don't know.
Somebody that I feel like doesn't get their due because I feel like they're a legit top 10 stand-up comedian of all time, but they did make it popular. But I just feel like nobody ever puts him at the top, and to me, he's amazing. Is Brian Regan.
I don't even know who that is.
Just
Sorry.
go look up some Brian Regan.
Yeah.
Good God, man. Hour and a half straight. Or however long his stand-up is.
Andrew Schultz.
Yeah.
He just does a lot of crowd work.
I think his heyday is right now or was the pandemic.
Yeah.
The thing that he did, he handled the pandemic different than any other stand-up comedian, and it was brilliant. As a stand-up comedian, I think he's good, not great. But he altered his style, that whole sitting down right in front, where you don't have to wait for the audience reaction. He keeps slapping it and slapping it and slapping it. He handled stand-up comedy during the pandemic better than anybody.
Yeah.
So Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
And the humor.
Tom Lear. Do y'all know who Tom Lear is?
I know that.
Poisoning pigeons in the park.
We're already shooting the name of this one in the foot, man.
I think he did the Element song as well.
I think pop culture stuff is probably better.
He's super. he's a very old comedian.
Yeah, she probably is.
Can't predict what we're going to talk about.
Yeah. But
anyway,
speaking of comedy,
hey, this is a good clip of us just talking about comedians.
Yeah.
My favorite thing about Shang-Chi, and it made me nervous. It really made me nervous, but they handled it so well, and that's fucking Trevor.
Trevor. Yeah. Sorry, yeah. The guy who's the
Trevor Flanagan, or
I don't know. I don't remember
what was his last name,
but Trevor. Yeah, he was great. I mean,
he was amazing.
You can't really. Ben Kingsley is.
Yeah.
You can't really.
Slattery. Trevor Slattery.
Okay,
I can't remember his last name.
I'm
gonna wear these backwards because it keeps getting caught on my chair.
Oh, there you go.
It's mono anyway, right?
Stereo?
Well, I mean, it is stereo, but it's all coming from the same. Yeah. Anyway, so the dragon shit at the end, that I feel like maybe they.
Oh, Fing Fang Foon?
It wasn't.
I think they build us up to that. You know what I mean? Like throughout the movie, they threw more and more like little like actual magic stuff at us.
Right.
Not like in Thor, they just explain it away with it's science that you just don't understand yet.
This is supposed to be science that you don't understand yet.
They didn't talk
about it. That's a space dragon.
They didn't talk about it like that.
That's like an alien.
Okay. Well, that makes sense.
But
they didn't talk about it like that.
Fin Fang Foom.
Right. I think we may end up. I don't want to get too on a deep dive that I'm not even passionate about. But
you guys are way deeper into this than I am. Who are you talking about?
Okay.
Fin Fang Foom is a alien dragon from the comics. Who he was the one who wore the rings.
Right.
The rings were like how they were able to move through time and space.
Yes.
It's like another set of Infinity
The
Stones.
rings were an energy source.
Okay.
That their spaceship used to, without spending thousands of years traveling through space, like it was an energy source that can move them throughout space and time. I don't know if it did time. Did it?
It may not have done time.
It may have just been space, but like skipping time to travel. And when they wrecked on Earth, this is the comics. When they wrecked on Earth, one of the dragons, Fin Fang Foom, wore the rings. They're a power source, but he wore them because the spaceship was destroyed and it made him really powerful. And the whole story goes on, and it's part of the Shang-Chi comic book story.
They change size based on like the wearer, and like they can change the size and stuff.
Because they're like
and they all have
big for a
they all
dragon
have like
wear it,
different. They don't go into it in the movie, but they all have like different abilities. Like I think they have like fire ability and like
they hint at it.
Yeah,
but they don't go in depth. They hint at it because just look at the logo, and we don't speak Mandarin or whatever typography that is. Isn't Mandarin? I don't know what the typography is, but like those symbols mean 10 different things. One's like strength, one's power, one's I don't think speed is one of them, but you get the gist. Like there are 10 different things.
Yeah.
So I mean, they do hint at it with their logo for the 10 Rings terrorist group, all the way back to the very first MCU movie, Iron Man. But
are you about to yawn, or you had something to say?
I had to yawn.
I thought he had something to say. I was like, I'm gonna let him go.
I was compressing. I was trying to compress and look at Josh as he was talking.
But yeah, that stuff threw me a little bit towards the end. The stuff that just seemed like magic that they were just kind of waving over.
So me and him disagree on this. So let's get the Fin Fang Foom thing out of the way.
Okay.
In the comics, only one of those dragons truly had a big role in the comics. Fin Fang Foom. And he was this big male dragon, small wings, stood upright, muscular.
Looks nothing like the movie dragon.
Yeah, nothing. And
maybe that's his other form.
Well, I don't think so.
Okay.
Because that was
they were trying here, Josh.
Didn't they refer to that dragon as female?
Oh, it is female.
Yeah.
That's why I said it's most likely not Fin Fang Foom, but it's fun to disagree with Josh.
So his take on it is that Fin Fang Foom, according to him and all those woke people, is that it was racist. The name was racist, so
it sounds a little racist.
It does sound a little racist.
See, and here's the thing: when you grow up,
it's a nice soundbite. It does sound a little racist.
I felt a little bit of Donald Glover come out. I remember him where he says he's like, "You're a little racist," and I could feel like the tone of voice coming out. He's another phenomenal comedian.
Yeah,
Atlanta is a phenomenal show.
Really connected to all this too. Like he wrote the Deadpool script for the animated series, and then
Deadpool was not Deadpool. Donald Glover
be Deadpool.
Donald Glover was supposed to be Spider-Man. Like there was a whole campaign.
Right. Yeah.
After Tobey Maguire's run.
Right. Yeah.
And then right before Disney bought Fox hired him to write an animated series, wrote a script for it. He leaked. I think he says he didn't do it, but he did. It was a phenomenal script. So when the show got canceled because Disney was buying them out and they just canceled the show, not because anything was wrong with the show, just because why start a new production that they hadn't got that far into? It just happened to get leaked. So you could see how great the script was, and it was good. It was going to be a good show. And it was going to be like one of those FX shows. So it was more meant for adults. It was going to be one of those like, probably came on right before.
Like Archer or something.
Yeah. It was going to come on, I think, like right before or after It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Okay. So, I mean, you see the audience. Yeah.
He was like, Ryan Reynolds did this and it worked. So let's try it. Man, or didn't do it and it worked.
Donald Glover's. That's a phenomenal person.
He's just a very talented person.
Like I'm about to say, it blows my mind how talented of a person, like that somebody that talented can exist.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
look at this table.
Yeah. All the talent around this table right now.
But
look at Kyle move the mic just with his nose.
Yeah. Did you see that?
He can't use his majestic beard anymore.
Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah, in case
if you're looking at the video, if you're watching the video on YouTube,
there's nothing wrong with your TV.
I don't have a chin anymore. It's gone. Yeah, this is what I look like. I'm sorry.
Sorry to disappoint.
Yeah, I apologize. I look like I'm 13 again with a beard.
It's not that you're ugly, Kyle.
It's just that you look better with a beard.
You look better when your face is covered.
Fin.
Yeah.
I realize after hearing about it why naming a dragon that is racist. However,
unless it's a real name, like if it's a real like Chinese name, Mandarin name or whatever.
Well, I'm not here to debate that it's not racist. I'm just saying when you're like 3 or 4 years old and you get into something and you hear a Chinese dragon named Fin, you're like, I mean, that sounds right.
Yeah.
And then you grow up with it, so that's just its name.
But that's like everything that has to deal with race, though.
But it's different
overall because like that's when it's like I was growing up and blackface, it just seemed fine. Like everybody down at the local corner store was doing it, so I just thought that was fine. Like no,
I totally agree with you. And
Fin Fang Foom's a little bit less that drastic, but I'm just saying like
here's what I'm saying. Here's the reason I was saying I never caught that it was racist. In the same exact books, you had a character named Fu Manchu or whatever that racist term is. And even as a teenager reading the books where I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That doesn't sound very
That is not right. But the Fin Fang Foom never clicked with him because it's like, okay, there's a fantasy dragon. You're not going to name him Carl, like the English version, whatever. You're going to name him something in Chinese. And you're not going to name him, like, say if he landed in America, you wouldn't say, oh, well, that's Carl. You'd come up with some weird name for him, but it would sound American, whatever you come up with. So in my head, it was this fantasy beast living in Asia.
Alien Carl.
Yeah.
It was this fantasy dragon living in Asia. They'd probably come up with some weird name that sounded Asian, and because me as a kid, like, it just didn't click.
You weren't thinking there was a bunch of white people around a table.
Exactly.
Going, what should we call this dragon?
Right.
Sling Fang, Chu Man. We already got Fu Manchu, right? Okay, so no, we can't do that one.
Right. When you name it that, though, you just know. Mm-hmm. You know that's white people naming something for racist reasons.
Again,
I mean, Fin what is it? Fin
Fang Foom. They literally did it to make it sound Chinese.
Yeah.
By
I'm just saying
appropriating what he had on his body. It's the same and setting up in that same three
I'm just trying to be open and admit that you can be a white person that's very against racism and things still just go right over your head sometimes.
I mean, as we can easily say, us three white cis men sitting here at this table, but it is, I'm gonna say, and it may not. Someone somewhere may be like, you know what? Like, I can't speak for Chinese people or Mandarin people or whoever this would affect specifically.
Are there Mandarin people? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That's where
I need
Mandarin
to do research on.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I know it's a language, but
China took over a bunch of little regions outside of their old empire, and those people were like, no, I'm not Chinese. They still call themselves and have their own language and culture and everything. China as a wait, what are they? They're a dictatorship, technically, right?
Yes, technically, I believe.
Or they look at it like,
are they republic? Because isn't it the republic of?
They call themselves a republic.
Yeah. All right, well,
there go all 35 followers.
Yeah,
but
all of them are using NordVPN right now to listen.
Here's my only point,
because the government won't let them.
Once you hire Aquafina, I feel like there was a way. You know how, like, she even kind of joked about not understanding some of the things about the culture and stuff like that. She was like so Americanized that like she was the whole, that in between or whatever. I'm just saying.
Because she even makes up her own like Chinese or Mandarin name.
And it's okay. She could have named a dragon Fin Fang Foom and made it hilarious. And we would have all called it that and it wouldn't have been racist.
Yeah.
I'm just saying they could have made it work.
That's because she's not a white person.
Yes, I agree. They could have saved it.
Yeah. Anyway,
I think it was salvageable.
I'm just saying, I can't speak for it. I'm just saying it does to me. And ever since I read the Shang-Chi comics, Fin Fang Foom did seem a little on the racist side.
Well, it has appeared that way to me too for a month.
Ever since I was like, Josh was like, why wouldn't they even use it? I was like, I don't know, probably because that's a racist ass name. And he was like, no, is it?
What?
I was like,
what?
I was like, I'm not sure. It may not be as racist as I'm making it out to be.
It just sounds like a stereotypical name.
Yeah, it's definitely a bad fuck. Like it's that because it's got 3 syllables, just like Fu Manchu.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Fu Manchu, Fing Fang Foom. Like it just
yeah.
It sounds a little.
I get it after the fact.
A little too on the nose to be conscientious.
Yeah.
Like all respect to the people at Marvel, but like.
But it was a really cool character in the comics. The dragon was.
Oh yeah, the dragon's badass as fuck. Like it's not like Fu Manchu was not only a racist name, but a stereotypical character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Fu Manchu
screamed racism up and down.
Yeah. Fing Fang Foom, fucking dope. Like he was just a badass like alien dragon who was just like, man, I used to just fuck shit up and then somebody took all my rings and now I'm just living here. I'm still a badass alien dragon though.
So to get the ball rolling a little bit more on the actual discussion of the movie though, what I'm thinking is that where
are you going?
You got to piss?
I'm about to piss myself.
You pee again?
Yeah.
You got to go pee pee.
You just peed.
I've had like 6 bottles of water in the past 4 hours.
Oh, okay.
You gotta go.
Yeah. You don't have to. We could literally
get like a pot down here. just a trough under the table. Oh,
get one of those.
You guys walk in and I got gloves on.
You guys ready?
Just lubing up the calf. Oh,
you disturbed yourself off of your own descriptions.
Yeah.
But y'all can keep talking.
Oh yeah, go pee.
Yeah.
So with Shang-Chi, I know his dad was like an amalgamation of what, a couple characters, a few, what 2 or 3?
He had.
Yes, the Mandarin and Fu Manchu and Shang-Chi's actual dad.
I knew Fu Manchu was one.
None of the 3 are connected.
And then
okay.
Oh, we take our shoes off? Man, I would have already had my shoes off. I didn't know we'd take our shoes off here.
Well, I live here, so, you know.
I'm the only person sitting around wearing shoes.
I don't know. Something about being disrespectful, and he called you an asshole. Yeah. So do you think...
and then in the movie, he's a collection of, like... They even... Did they mention Genghis Khan? Oh, Master Khan is what he said. He said, I've been called Master Khan, and which is, I think, a play on...
Like a hint that
Genghis.
He was him? In the movie, they were saying, like, he was him.
He's basically always been the leader.
I gotcha.
And he's been called different things. So that...
Yeah.
Because they didn't see him as truly immortal, so he's, like, taking different roles throughout time.
Something about the new movies... I'm not, like I say, the new movies, like in these Phase 4 movies, not the shows, because the shows I'm okay with, but I think it's just going to take me a little bit of time to get invested in the new characters. Just because, like, when the first Iron Man came out, dude, I was literally a child.
Yeah.
Like, I was in 7th grade or 8th grade. I don't remember when it came out. I was either in 7th or 8th grade. And so, like, I grew up with those characters, you know?
Right.
The first, like, the phase 1 through 3.
You can be talked into anything at that point. If something's good,
right,
you just buy into it. You don't have the negativity built in
yeah.
of, what if it goes this way?
Well, it's not even that. It's just like, I don't know. I'm so used to how they did things with the first wave.
But you would have gotten tired of it if they just had stayed the same way. So,
yeah.
I love the fact that they're changing it up.
I like it too. It worried me at first.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah. It's just, as a fan, I was worried that I wasn't going to be as into it, or other people weren't going to be as into it. But I said something on the last time we were here together.
I can go ahead and see the formula they're using, though. Like, I love what they're doing.
They can literally, like, keep this going. And because I think at this point, because we watched Shang-Chi, I didn't really question a whole lot of what was going on. And, like, I don't know, like with the What If series, for instance, all the different stuff they've got going on in that series and all of the multiverse stuff, like they've gotten us to a point as like the audience and the fans and whatnot, where I'm just like, yeah, okay, I accept this. Just like you do with comic books. Yep. Like a character comes back to life in the comic books and they just like retcon it, and all of a sudden.
And it's not even dumb. If you're into the story, they make it work.
Right.
And can I go ahead and say something?
Sure.
So in the finale of What If, one last
was this the
spoiler
finale?
warning. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was. They made 10 episodes for it.
Okay.
And we don't know why yet, but they cut an episode.
Okay.
In the next episode, I'll get to that, but we won't go like deep dive into it. But in the next episode, you see that there's a version of Tony Stark and Gamora that they act like you really know, and you don't. That was the missing episode. They cut an episode for some reason. They even made toys for it.
Huh.
Like, it was a for sure thing, and something made them cut it.
Okay.
I wonder if it had something to do around either the new Guardians of the Galaxy film coming out, or it has something to do with like a Tony Stark type of situation.
They've unofficially said that it's going to be a part of season 2, but that obviously means that they needed to rework it.
A big trend right now has been people saying that Tony Stark's death is a nexus point. Is
that's what that
makes
like.
sense. Too.
What point they call it's whenever Doctor Strange breaks
absolute
it.
point.
Absolute point.
Yeah. That's a real scientific term, but it's all about theoretics.
Yeah.
And they're really playing heavy into it, and I love it because that's
you want to talk about it. You want to talk about the science? Do you want to?
Sure.
Do you want to? I think this is the right button. Hang on.
Buckle your seatbelts, kids. It's time for Science with Josh.
All right, let's get into it. The science. I just wanted to use that button.
I'm not going to
sitting on that for over a month now.
I'm glad I got the button right.
That was magical. That's the first time I've heard it.
Yeah, I know. I was excited.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I've got an old fashioned going on.
That's weird. Okay.
An absolute point in time is a theoretical thought project where if there's an infinite amount of worlds, then you would have to have an infinite amount of everything, meaning everything about your life, there's a replica of it, except for you sneezed one extra time in your life. Like it would be that minor of changes because it's infinite.
Yeah.
However, some of those things lead to the butterfly effect, or well, not technically, but that's a different term. But it just causes a domino effect of different things happening. An absolute point of time is something where nothing ends up resulting the way it needs to be unless, which kind of undoes the whole infinite, because something has to always happen across all of them the same for different results to continue on and it give way for something. Like a good example is the What If episode 3 or 4 with Doctor Strange.
I don't remember
the third or fourth one. The Doctor Strange episode. Yeah. Christine dying was an absolute point.
Right.
He couldn't find a way around it. He literally ripped the universe apart trying to fix it.
Right.
Because the universe had to have it or it couldn't continue. And there's a theory that Bryton
it wasn't even entirely her death. It was more of him becoming Doctor Strange, because Doctor Strange in the Marvel universe is a nexus point. So he always had to be Doctor Strange. It's kind of like how Wanda always has to be Scarlet Witch. she's a nexus point. She will forever and always be Scarlet Witch. Doctor Strange will forever and always be Doctor Strange.
She's a nexus being.
Yeah. So, what the fuck? Yeah, so Tony Stark.
Yeah, so
there's been a thing going around because in the 2 episodes we've seen Tony Stark, he's been dead.
Right.
And then in the main MCU, he's been dead.
Well, I think it was
3 if you count, because you have the zombie apocalypse one, episode 8, and Killmonger.
Oh, okay, yeah. So
because technically he's dead by Ultron's hand in episode 8.
Okay. So he does die in episode 8.
Yeah, you've seen it.
Yeah. You saw episode 8.
Where it's just
Ultron
the
kills
only
Thor, Hulk, Tony Stark,
everybody.
Yeah. Everybody except for
Are you sure
Black
you're 2 episodes behind?
No, I watched it. It's the one where he slices Thanos in half.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember that. I don't know.
Right when he comes online, the first thing he just kills Tony, he kills Hulk, he kills Thor.
You still the whole point is,
what if see Hulk like moving a little bit, like he's dying, but he's dead.
The only ones left are Hawkeye
go to the
and Black
bathroom
Widow.
or something? I don't remember this.
You know, there's a remote. It's got 2 lines vertically. It'll pause it.
Yeah,
and you just go to the restroom.
I don't know. I have to look into that. I don't know.
2 parallel lines, just fucking chilling right there.
Yeah. Yep. Well, anyway.
But yeah, and then in the main MCU, Tony's dead. So there's been a theory floating around that Tony's death is an absolute point.
He has to die.
That he has to die.
Well, that sucks.
Which I love.
Until you get to the 9th episode, which kind of disproves it a bit, because there's a living Tony Stark
from a different universe.
Gotcha. Now he doesn't.
Ooh. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was about to say he doesn't. He doesn't go further except for this cutoff episode where they apparently cut this episode from the time, like from the air time for season 1,
right?
And he's literally in like an all of 30-second clip where the Watcher literally is like, "Hey, I need you," and Tony's like, "Me?" And he's like, "No, Gamora."
Not you, Tony. Not this time.
Yeah.
And so that's the only time we see him alive. Now he could die later on in that.
And he's in the Hulkbuster suit, and they're fighting on a certain planet. I can't remember the name of it now.
It's a planet where the dwarfs forge.
I know. Starts with an S, right?
It's the one that's like around the sun.
Saga. I want to say Sagittarius. That's not it.
No, I don't think that's it.
I don't even think it's that simply. It's
like it was but anyway, he's in the Hulkbuster suit, and yeah, his ego. He thinks he's going to be really important, and the Watcher's like, "No, not you, Tony. No, not for this. It's you." He needs Gamora for it. He basically goes and builds the Defenders, which is a comic book group,
right?
But they're basically the Avengers.
Way the fuck off.
What was it? That's not the word I was looking.
Nidavellir.
Oh, yeah.
Nidavellir.
No, that ain't what I'm talking about.
Nidavellir is what they called it in Endgame? No, Infinity War.
Infinity War, yeah.
Yeah, that's not what I'm looking.
It's like 100% that. Because you even see Eitri melting the gauntlet.
No, I know that's where they're at. But I'm saying they made a toy line for that Tony in the Hulkbuster suit, and they call him something Iron Man, and it starts with an S, I'm almost certain, when they're referring to that version of Iron Man.
Right.
They made toys for it, but then that episode got cut. So, and why the fuck didn't they make toys of this Ultron?
Oh, wow.
I want them.
Yeah.
I want them bad.
Yeah.
Real bad.
So how do you think, so Shang-Chi being moved into the big stage, the main stage here where they're building up,
Sicarian.
That's it.
The Sicarian Iron Man.
I was thinking Sicarian.
That's where Gamora's from, right?
No, that's where Thor ends up in Thor.
Right.
Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Sakaar.
Yeah.
That's where what is he? Not the Collector, not the Watcher, the Game Master.
Yeah, I think he's a Game Master. Jeff Goldblum character. But like,
oh, do you mean that sexy motherfucker?
How
Jeff
perfectly
Goldblum?
cast was he?
He's great.
Yeah,
jeez.
He's just playing Jeff Goldblum.
God among men. Yeah.
Kevin Feige is a genius with what he's doing with MCU, but we got to give credit whoever is the casting director for all these things, because I mean, Chris Hemsworth, Chris Evans, Chris Pratt, Robert Downey Jr.
We could have
You can go on and on. About 90% of them are people you're like, nobody else can play it the way they do.
Yeah. Like,
And now we have Jon Favreau to thank for Robert Downey Jr.
True.
we almost had
Jon Favreau was still
a
the
Tom
producer working with him
Hiddleston
on it, but yeah.
We almost had a Tom Hiddleston Thor. Like, that would have been. Did you? He
Right.
Yeah,
he auditioned for that with
Thor.
blonde hair.
But we didn't almost have it. They immediately knew that he wasn't right for Thor.
Right.
But they were like,
What I'm
we
saying is,
need
like,
this
it-
guy.
it
He's
could have
good.
happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever watched those? I think Sean Penn was also supposed to be in the Marvel universe. I can't remember for what.
All I know
remember
is
that one,
I've
but-
seen compilations of the actors who are in the Marvel universe auditioning for different parts.
Yeah, Chris
Like,
Pratt.
Chris Pratt is
tried to be
Captain
Captain
America.
America. Yeah.
Yep.
But it was so funny because like when he was auditioning for it, he was still tubby, and it was like,
During his Parks and Rec.
yeah, it was before he got. That was weird to watch. Like I was watching Parks and Rec, and I didn't realize towards in later seasons is when he was clearly filming Guardians of the Galaxy because he went from like this chubby dorky guy to like holy shit.
For
like,
most
you
episodes,
got
they made
really
him wear
fit.
something kind of baggy so that he would still not
You could
look
still-
too...
his face
There's
was
literally
I know.
literally one episode where he's like, it literally.
Damn it!
Oh, that's on you, Bo.
I turned it off.
Clearly, you didn't.
Clearly I didn't. The vibration was still... No, it's not me.
Oh.
It's not me.
My last notification was 3 minutes ago.
My last notification was an hour ago.
It might have been your phone like reminding you about something.
Yeah, it does that. But
Anyway,
It's trash now.
fucking garbage. But fuck, what was I talking? Yeah, there's actually a scene in Parks and Rec where there's like, it's literally like a 10-second thing, and he's talking to Ben, and he's like, "Yeah, I lost all that weight, stopped drinking beers." He's like, "How much beer were you drinking?" And it was just a quick throwaway line to explain why Andy lost all this weight.
yeah.
That happened
But-
to me, though. I went on a beer diet for 4 months and lost 75 pounds, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, like you crushing it at the gym." I was like, I hadn't seen the gym.
No. I actually stopped picking up things. Really, is what happened.
They're like, "How much beer were you drinking?" I was like, "I stopped a case a night. Stop it." It wasn't that hard.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think Shang-Chi's role is going to be in these new phases that are happening? Do you think he's going to who? All right, so we've got the original roster. We've got your Iron Man, your Captain America, your who's another big powerful one, Vision, Thor. The
Hulk.
big bads, and then the big goods, I guess, Hulk, and then you've got your Black Widow, your Hawkeye. Which not to say that they're not important, but she's got a gun and can kick stuff. And
Hawkeye got fucked in the movies. I'm ready for the new the TV show though.
I think
'cause
that show's
they're-
gonna
I think they're
crush.
gonna do him justice because, like in the
I do
comics,
too.
Hawkeye's a bad
He's a
motherfucker.
badass in the movies. Just like when you put him next to Iron Man and Hulk and Thor and Captain America,
Yeah, to be honest,
it's just like okay, he's a guy with a stick
When you
that shoots
watch-
other sticks.
yeah, when you watch those movies for the first time, Hawkeye's probably the most lackluster one. However,
No, Black Widow.
really,
Yeah,
see,
Scarlett Johansson's
think-
just pretty. Like,
But
Yeah, but
Black
I'm not,
Widow
I'm not
has
saying because
there's literally scenes of her going through a hallway of 20 people and she takes them all out. There's where she's the one that tricks Loki. She's the one that does all these things. I feel like she got more.
yeah, okay.
I feel like she got
I
more
was
accomplished.
thinking in like combat stuff,
But if you
specifically. Like he does some pretty crazy shit with the bow. and
Yeah,
arrow.
I mean,
like,
in the first Avengers, there's the point
But
where
you're right, you're
he's
right.
sitting there and he takes out probably 100 of these
Yeah.
things from a distance.
Yeah.
But like they give her that shining moment where she goes down a hallway of 20 big ass men, 250 pounds of muscle, and she takes all of them out by herself, while Jon Favreau takes out one after a 15-minute fight.
Yeah.
Iron Man 2. She's crucial in Iron Man 2.
yeah.
That's what I was talking about.
I know, but I'm just like Iron Man 2. She's crucial in that. Was she one of the Thors as well? She was in Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Winter Soldier.
yeah.
Yeah.
And she's a bad
huge.
motherfucker in Winter Soldier. And now in the Avengers, she may not get as much credit because they're
Okay.
trying to focus on everybody.
I was wrong. Okay.
just
Sorry.
fucking accept defeat.
But when I recently watched the entire thing all the way through for the 47th time, what I realized,
What's that?
the 20-odd movies.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, when I watched
I
them
didn't know
all
if you were
through
just talking
again.
about one.
Now, about every 3 months, I restart them. And
No.
yeah,
Maybe I should.
they get better and better. Ultron, I didn't like Ultron the first time I watched it. I fucking love that movie now. I still hate that he has lips because that's dumb.
Yeah.
Thor: The Dark World gets better.
It does. It's
Really?
it's probably the worst movie, but you watch it over and over, and after you watch Infinity Wars, the whole where you understand the stone more and all of that, it's like, okay, well, it took some hindsight, but it actually is pretty damn decent.
Yeah.
But I consider it one of the worst movies because it doesn't slap on the first view, and you need to be good on the first viewing, and it's not
Like Venom.
They had to.
like Venom.
Garbage.
But real quick, before we get onto that trash pile,
Hot dumpster party. Dumpster party, dumpster fire.
dumpster fire, it's a dumpster, party.
It's a hot dumpster party. It smells like old
I think that's
food
one of my
and sweat
favorite. I
in
think
here.
that's worse than a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
Do you want to come to
Definitely.
my hot dumpster party? No.
When you rewatch those 26 movies or whatever sequentially, and you've seen them over and over, so you start to like pick up little details. One of my favorite moments now when I rewatch them is when everything's gone to hell and they have to go, and Hawkeye is the only one awake and flying the plane, and they're just defeated. And he knows that he can't run through a building. He can't fly. He can't do all these different things. But he can stay awake all night and fly this fucking plane. And Tony Stark's like, hey, you need to break. He's like, no, I got it, y'all. He knows.
What movie is this in?
This is in Infinity War. This is when he's going to bring them, and they don't know about his wife. They don't know about his kids. They don't know he has this whole farm.
He's taking them there. Okay.
Yeah. And he's like, Tony's like, I'll take over. And you can see he's tired. And Hawkeye's like, I got this. You know.
First of all, you're not a pilot. You fly a suit, so sit down. I have a license.
But he has those real world moment views where he gets there, and if you remember, he had that really bad injury, so they his wife knew about it and like touches the skin because they regrew the skin. Do you remember them? Scene I'm talking about? They had regrown the skin, and
maybe I should watch these over
Age
and
of
over
Ultron,
again, like you.
They had regrown the skin in Age of Ultron.
It does help.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're so much better.
Even
when
if
you
it's
rewatch
not
them.
every 3 months, but like once a year, it really.
If you're not watching them 4 times a year, what the fuck are you doing, man?
I wasn't
I'm trying to keep up with all the other shit they're putting out.
I wasn't saying I wasn't. I was just letting Kyle know.
So anyway,
I like to binge watch them all before a new movie comes out. That way I'm constantly current.
his wife says something about how basically he knows his wife is worried about him, and he's talking about it. And one of my favorite like human moments is you got this final break where all these literal, and she even says it, she's like, they're literally gods doing all of this. And speaking of like Thor and all that. And he's like, you don't think I belong with him? She's like, no, that's what scares me the most. No, he says, you don't think they need me? And she's like, no, that's what scares me the most. They do need you. They need that human element, that person that is down to earth and knows exactly what it's like to be normal. He just happens to be the best of the best when it comes to shooting an arrow or whatever. Like, he's got this skill where he's super good at, but he's no Thor or Hulk or Iron Man or any of those.
Yeah.
I love that element, and I hope they stick with that because it gets played in a way where he seems like the weak one for a while, but then when things really get huge, he's got those moments of like just real life where you feel like, damn, like, yeah, him and Natasha don't have any super abilities. They're they're part of the Avengers, and they don't have shit but skill.
And fuck, like Black Widow may not get enough like credit.
She's amazing.
Like even the movie, but have you seen the movie?
Oh yeah.
The movie fucking slaps. The way she handles like Taskmaster
good.
and the whole syndicate of widows.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. And I'm excited.
During
I'm hoping.
Shang-Chi,
I'm
you
hoping
went to the
Hawkeye.
restroom and you missed when there was
a widow fighting in one of the arena. Yeah, I was filled in on that afterwards.
Oh, yeah.
one of the 7 times he went to the restroom. Remember
Twice. I would twice.
Right. You good?
Yeah, I don't know why I keep yawning.
Well, it's because it's midnight.
Is it already midnight?
that? There was a widow fighting an extremist.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so back to what I was trying to set up when we went on a tangent like we do.
Venom.
No. We'll get to that. But I was wondering, like, where do you think all these new characters are going to fall? Like, is Tom Holland Spider-Man? Is he At one point, we were like, he's new Iron Man. Like, he's taking that head role.
They did set him up.
I've never said that.
It is one. I was just saying that's how it felt. It is 100%
from a year ago. I've been saying that Doctor Strange will be the new
definitely Doctor Strange.
I think what he's referring to is the fact that before we knew about Phase 4, when Infinity War came out, Endgame came out right after it, and this was all before
Far From Home.
Far From Home. Far From Home set him up to be the new Iron Man. Then the Sony contract happened, and Phase 4 was released. All of that happened in quick succession.
Yeah.
So it really seemed like for a hot minute there, Spider-Man was being set up to be the next Iron Man.
I still disagree, but I get what you're saying.
But they reflect him as Tony so much. That's the point. Literally on the fucking plane, Happy looks back and he's doing the same shit that
but
Tony
to me, as far as the grand scheme of what Tony was, is the person that is going to be just tied to every single thing that has to come in and connect every which way. And I never saw Spider-Man as that. I see Spider-Man was being set up as the person with the tech. He's a smart person. He was part of the internship that didn't exist, but
right.
I get that Tony was the one grooming Spider-Man, but I never saw Spider-Man being the role that Iron Man just played in the first 4 phases.
Yeah.
That was always being set up for Doctor Strange.
I don't think it was always being set up for Doctor Strange.
I don't
think as far as an
for the last couple of years it has been.
The last couple of years, we've seen Doctor Strange twice in the first decade
movies
of movies.
Take 4 to 5 years from the time they're planning them.
I know.
I'm saying that.
But as an audience, do you really feel like they've given us enough clues to the fact of exclude since Phase 4 came out?
No, he came out in Phase 4. Basically, he was
no, he didn't.
He was the very end, he was.
You're thinking of the end of Phase 3. We're in Phase 4.
We are in Phase 4.
Before they announced Phase 4 in the
then I was speaking of Phase off.
Was it late 2019?
We didn't just start Phase 5.
No.
No.
Jesus.
No.
Okay.
I think Phase 4. What kicked off Phase 4? Was it the series?
Spider-Man Far From Home. No, Spider-Man Far From Home ended Phase 3.
Right. That's what I was thinking.
Early 2020. Early 2020 was when we got Phase 4. The announcement for everything for Phase 4, I think.
Right.
So if you exclude that, what information did they give us to think that Doctor Strange would lead?
Well, based on what you just said, nothing. But based in my head, ever since the first movie, where they introduce all these aspects of magic, and then you start to see them parallel in all through Infinity War and Endgame. With the Ancient One, things they said kept coming true, and everything that's happened in Phase 4, it all has just been pointing towards the fact that he is.
But Phase 4 literally, when they announced it with Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness and knowing about the multiversal things.
I said I've thought this for the last year. We've known about.
You said years. That's the only reason
you did say a couple of years.
You said in the past few years. That's why.
Yes, because
to be
I've
fair,
been harping on it.
Because it goes
to be fair.
Because the first Doctor Strange has been out for years.
Yes,
those things started to play out in 2019, which was years ago, and now it has been cemented in the last year.
Yeah, I agree. In the last year, I was just saying for the argument we were making when Far From Home came out. The aspect of Doctor Strange being the lead of the next 3 phases was not prevalent. At the point at which Far From Home came out,
beating Thanos wouldn't have happened without Doctor Strange, and they let us know that by still allowing Tony Stark to be the hero. Tony Stark was the hero, and everything was happening in this small sequential type of thing where it just happened to happen in a certain way, and they never sold the fact that Doctor Strange was making sure that it was going down that route, and yet it was.
But how? Doctor Strange was dusted the entire time.
When
on purpose, though, right?
I was about to say he saw how things had to happen.
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole thing.
Yeah, no, I get that.
We're all on the same page, right?
I don't know.
He is.
I feel like
he's
everything
definitely the leader.
No, he is. I was defending your point.
I'm trying to find out where I'm wrong.
I was trying to defend your point.
I'm so lost.
I was trying to defend. I was trying to defend your point when you said, for a while there, they made it seem like Spider-Man would be the next Iron Man.
Yeah.
Up until Phase 4 was announced, it seemed like Far From Home would have been that Spider-Man was set up to be the next Iron Man.
I understand what all this is about now. Got it.
Then Phase 4 was announced, and we were starting to see the outliers, and we're like, holy shit, it's not Spider-Man, it's Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
I was getting to the point, but since Josh had said a few years ago, we started talking because we're like, oh, well, that wasn't a few years ago. That was like a year ago.
I get it. Yeah.
But he had misspoken. So that's where the whole confusion,
it was 2 years ago.
That's where the whole confusion changed and started running its course.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Um,
But I'm still curious what you mean by you. Like, I get Doctor Strange was like, there's only one possible timeline and then immediately is dusted and isn't seen until the end of Endgame.
I don't know, man.
He's already asked to wrap this up twice. So, what would you like to talk about next?
Oh,
I want to talk about the end of Shang-Chi, where we have
Wong.
Bruce.
You know about Wong?
Oh, well,
That's the end. I was thinking in credit. Sorry.
I was going to say Bruce Banner is human again. It's Bruce Banner. It's not Smart Hulk.
Yeah. That's weird. I was like, do we have theories there?
I do, but I don't know how I feel about any of them.
All right, well, hit me.
How did he get?
Buckle your seatbelts, kids.
This is not science.
It's not.
This is definitely not science.
I just wanted to hit the button again.
Fiction.
It's science adjacent with Josh.
We've got no explanation. Like the last thing that we saw was 2 years ago. We were being told that Bruce merged himself with the Beast to become Smart Hulk, Professor Hulk, whatever you want to call him.
Yeah,
and then he's the one that did the snap. His arm got fried. He was wearing,
what is it about 6 years ago in the timeline? Because didn't it happen relatively after Infinity War?
No. This was 2023 when the snap happened.
Yeah,
Hulk snap.
I know, but
because it's 5 years after.
I would say he's been
snap.
He was Smart Hulk for what, about 5?
We don't know. I don't think because
I don't think they touch on how long he's been Smart Hulk.
Who went and saw him? Cap and Natasha.
Yeah.
It was Ant-Man.
Cap.
Because they meet in that restaurant, that diner,
I think it was Natasha.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was all
Black,
three Black Widow, yeah.
Okay. When they were talking to him,
take the goddamn phone.
He's like, I spent 18 months in the Gamma Lab, blah, blah, blah. So we know he spent 18 months merging himself, finding out how to do it.
3.5 years.
3.5 years.
At least, yeah.
Not counting the time it took.
Well, at least 18 months. We don't know. Anywhere between.
Because when does Shang-Chi take place? Because it doesn't take place immediately after.
It's after the.
It's several months after the fact.
I think so. I mean, they're still talking about people coming back and all that in the movie, so you could assume it's a few months.
So it's probably been about 4
or more.
It's probably been about 4 years that they'd had Smart Hulk.
I hate that they fuck with the timeline like that because now it's harder for me to keep up with it. Like what year is it? What year is it to you guys?
2023. They're in the end of 2023. We know Shang-Chi has to be 2023. We know.
I think we'll catch up. While you're doing the math in your head, I think we'll catch up. I think that's one of the points.
They'll just slow down production.
I think that's one of the points of why they're like, oh, we're gonna catch up because at this point we're still in 2023 for them, but we're about to go into 2022.
Yeah.
So they jumped 5 years, and we're almost back on top of them. Now, granted, COVID kind of fucked some shit up, but overall, it seems like we're.
Because the Thanos snap was 2018, right?
Yep.
And then Endgame is 2023, which was 5 years. And we got Endgame in 2019.
Yep.
So a year had passed ish.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we were technically 4 years behind. COVID did kind of fuck things up, but we're kind of starting to catch up back fast.
Somebody was working really hard on fixing that whole thing.
Because
they got the solution, and then COVID happened, and they're like, we got to shut everything down. It's going to back us up for a while. We don't know what to do. And this guy's just like, just balls up his paper and throws it away. Fuck. All right, fine.
I don't know what's going on with Bruce, but I feel like we're going to get it. I think we're going to get an in-depth story that goes along with this. I think we'll see I don't know what movie it'll be a part of. I have no idea. Like, I don't have a good theory on this, but I feel like every time there's one of those moments where people that really pay attention to these movies think about it and they're like, wait, that doesn't make sense. They always answer it.
Maybe he's just getting old. Because he looks old as shit. He looked old as shit.
He had a lot more gray hair. Now, it was a hologram, so it was blue hair, but it looked light blue.
Yeah, he looked a lot older.
Dark blue.
I think I might know kind of why.
Okay.
Go ahead.
It might have something to do with the snap.
He was still Hulk then, though.
No, not his snap.
Do you know why he took the snap?
Tony's snap.
Oh.
I think it was Tony's snap.
I think it has to do with his snap.
He was still.
I have a theory.
He was still Hulk.
Because
at the funeral.
I guess he thought I want everything to go back to the way it was. It all depends on how it was presented in their head. If he said, I want everything to go back to the way it was, and snapped his finger, do you still? No, sorry. That song got stuck in him. Snap your fingers.
Don't do that.
No.
This has went off the rails.
If he had been like, oh, I want everything the way that it used to be, and then snapped his fingers, that's why he would change back. But I'm trying to think of how Tony would have set his question before he snapped. Because I figured his snap would be, I want everything back to the way it was. Snap, and everything starts to go back to the way it was. The people return.
Yeah, that still wouldn't hold water because he was still Professor Hulk at the funeral.
Yeah, what I think, and like I say, I don't feel confident about this one. This isn't one that I'm like, no, more.
It's time for assumptions with Josh.
The reason, do you remember why Hulk took the snap? Thor wanted the snap.
Right.
Thor's like, I'm the one that didn't go for the head. I went for the chest. This is on me. I'm the strongest. And Hulk's like, you're not the strongest. Yeah. But his reason, he was like, I was born for this. I'm the one that took the gamma radiation that turned me into this. This thing is mostly gamma radiation. I was built to handle this. I've got to be the one. I think that amount of gamma, I think, this is more the fanboy in me talking. Because what I want is for us to get truly comic Hulk, and we haven't seen him yet. We've gotten close. But in the comics, Hulk, for the majority of the time, obviously it takes ups and downs and different stories, but for the majority of the time, the Hulk is either a separate entity of Bruce Banner,
right? Or
when they're together, even when Bruce Banner's doing these great things as a scientist, whatever, he's really triggered easily. And they've given him an out where he honestly, you see him have to have that argument about you wouldn't like me when I'm angry and all that, but he's handled it really well if you actually compare it to the comics, because he can't handle anger at all in the comics. And in the comics, Hulk gets bigger, stronger, everything. The more impact he takes, the more pain he takes, the more anger he gets. He just keeps on and on and on. And that's how he's presented for the majority since the 80s.
Is Pain his? I thought Pain was Red Hulk's. I thought
Hulk
was just getting more mad.
Yeah, I was about to say Pain makes you.
I thought it was
more emotional.
Okay.
I'm just talking about his emotions being at play.
I'm not. I'm
anger, pain, all of that makes literally the more that Hulk takes, the more beating he takes, the bigger he gets. Maybe it's because of anger, not pain, but still, like, he keeps getting bigger and stronger the more.
Because I know, like, as far as opposing, like the whole thing with like Thor's hammer, Hulk would eventually, because Thor's hammer keeps getting stronger, Hulk would continue to get stronger because he would continue to have this opposing strength. And gamma radiation makes him stronger. But
so, what was your
he had
theory?
This big,
it like negates it or something? And
no, he took this big gamma burst,
right?
And I'm wondering, did he
from the snap?
Yeah, from the snap,
right?
So before the snap, you heard him say, it's the best of both worlds. He's popular with kids. He's popular on the street. He can be strong when he wants. He's as smart as he wants. Why would he decide to change that? I'm thinking that we're going to get a hindsight type of thing where we see a story where after he took that gamma blast, something that he didn't like, it intensified Hulk in some way where he tried to separate himself.
He maybe had to go back and rework the formula.
Yeah. Why would you spend 18 months in the lab trying to separate yourself if you're absolutely in love with, like, this, this is the best of both worlds?
Yeah.
We've gotten two different stories there, I feel like. And I feel like they'll go back and explain it.
I certainly hope so.
Me too.
It's clearly like they're going to. It's not like you just like
It
wasn't like it was an accident. That
MCU
Mark
doesn't
Ruffalo,
do that.
not like some
wasn't the whole
CGI
point of
guy.
the 18 months in the lab was to create this version of Hulk?
Yes.
Yeah. But I'm saying now we're seeing him, he's separated. So he's so happy with what he created, but now we've got him just as Bruce Banner. He still had his arm in a sling, right?
Yeah.
He looks gray and old.
Yep.
Something has went down.
Yeah.
And after the 18 months in the lab to get himself where he's super happy, the snap happened. That was after that. So something since then has made him go back to his normal self. So if he was so happy with it, what happened there?
It had to be a personal choice, it seems.
I feel like it probably was
this
personal choice because he was tired of some reaction.
But it makes me wonder if it even would be a snap, because
look back in the comics and tell me when the Hulk ever had an injury that lasted more than a day. And this thing lasted.
That's a good.
But
maybe he was taking. Maybe there was too much of Banner in the Hulk, and there was too much of the Hulk in Banner. Like, you know what I mean? Like maybe the mix it just didn't work.
Well, also
what I'm saying is
there's no way to comprehend these Infinity Stones based on the comics.
No, I agree.
Because in the comics,
they're going to go their own route.
Infinity Stones don't do this. You can snap. Literally anybody, a kid could walk up, grab the Infinity Gauntlet, and snap, and they'd be fine. There's no, in the comics, they don't go this like route of they're so powerful.
You have to be strong.
You literally sacrifice a part of your body to use them. And like shit in the comics, the Hulk has like 10. He has like 2 Infinity Gauntlets at one time from 2 different universes.
Wow!
Just because he can.
Yeah,
I think was it Hulk. Do you remember, Josh?
I don't remember him having 2.
You know what I think?
Gauntlets.
I can't remember. I can't remember if it was him or somebody else, but I know somebody wielded 2.
I think Stan Lee was a piece of shit.
Jesus fucking Christ! That was a
you motherfucker.
Just make that a clip alone, and we'll put that on TikTok and see if it does the same thing.
Well, I'm awake again.
Are you aware of what that did on TikTok, by the way? Did he share with you?
23.3 thousand views.
I think it's over 30 now.
No, it's still 23.3.
Okay, sorry.
I just checked.
Over 30, you say?
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, last time I checked, it was at 120,000.
300,000.
Yeah.
Wow.
A million?
You guys go check it out.
Jesus Christ.
It's a few back. Go check it out. Go make sure I'm right. Go watch that TikTok real quick.
Yeah.
Just,
You have to watch it to see, like, you know.
Yeah.
Check it out.
We don't even. The sad thing is the conversation about it is longer than a TikTok would allow, because we literally argue about it for about 2.5 minutes, and I had to cut everything back where it's literally just you being like, I'm right and this is why, and my argument just gets cut off.
We obviously don't need to get into it tonight because I could go for hours.
Yeah.
But we should talk about that sometime, because the whole Stan Lee thing, he deserves to get pointed out for a few things he did, and Jack Kirby needs so much more credit than he got. But sometimes people think that when you give credit, you have to take credit, and I think Stan Lee got the exact amount of credit he deserved.
Yeah.
It's just Jack Kirby didn't get enough. It's not that Stan Lee got too much.
Yeah.
That's my feelings on it.
And a lot of creators from then don't, like a lot of artists don't get enough, and that's true to say today.
Yeah.
How many artists do you know, like comic artists or illustrators or animators or whatever,
or maybe someone who makes videos, you know?
Yeah. Who gets enough credit that, I don't know.
No, I was just saying.
He's trying to stroke his own ego over there.
No. I was just saying, like, people, like, if you're watching like a YouTube video or something, whoever, I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I happen to do that.
People don't get enough.
I tag you in everything.
No, I know.
No. I was just saying, people who make the videos, people who make the people who are actually bringing it to life, like putting air into it and life into it, don't necessarily always get. They're the background workers, and that's the path they've chosen.
I was just trying to point out specifically, like Jack Kirby, phenomenal artist for Marvel Comics.
By the way, Jake, I wasn't suggesting anything. Just putting that out there. Yeah, no.
Do you know do you remember any of the animators who made the What If series?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I do.
Do you really?
Yeah.
What's their names?
I'll tell you the scene.
Jack Kirby.
Go to episode 8 and you see Hawkeye flipping through the folders. Their name's in Russian right there. Just go read it for yourself.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
But
Wow.
still, you couldn't name off the top of your head.
No,
yeah, exactly. And that I think that's the whole. I think that's a big portion of the Jack Kirby v. Stan Lee argument is Jack Kirby didn't get enough credit for being one of the greatest comic book artists to exist. We were literally just talking about this earlier.
And
Josh was like, he literally would tell people, he would just look at a piece of paper.
Do you know how comics are drawn? Real quick, because if you don't, then I want to explain it real quick. So that
Go for it.
You can still say it if you want to, but what I was telling him is there's multiple stages. You have a plain piece of paper. Mm-hmm. Before you put any hard lead lines where you start to push down your pencil,
right.
You gently lay your pencil down and you just start...
You're just sketching.
Yeah, and there's lines every which way.
Right.
And then you find, as an artist, you can start to see what are the right lines there, and you start to go hard on those lines.
Yeah.
You pass it on to somebody, they do an overlay, and they ink it. Mm-hmm. Then it goes to somebody else, and they color it. So there's 4 stages, but the first 2 stages are the main artists. That's why they get the credit, because they lay the structure down. Jack Kirby didn't ink or color his stuff most of the time, but he still gets the credit as the artist because he did the main stages of it. Mm-hmm. Jack Kirby didn't do the first stage, ever. He had a blank piece of paper. He put the pencil down real fucking hard, and he started drawing. Yeah. And he didn't keep an eraser anywhere near him because he never stopped to fix anything. And he drew everything, and people were like, how? Where are your, what's the name of the lines?
Your soft lines.
Yeah, there's an artistic name for it, but yeah, those really soft lines, there's a name for them, but
sketch?
No.
There's a specific term, but I had to do it in gestural drawing in college, but
I
have an art degree.
That's a big word right there.
Gestural.
We had to draw blindfolded, doing nothing but gestural drawing.
Really? Yeah. Jesus fucking Christ.
So when you're laying down the gestural lines, and that's not the word I'm looking for, but that is what he's doing. Not only did he skip that step, but he didn't have to ever go back and erase. And that's an achievement enough, talking about how good of an artist Jack Kirby was, except he was also creating a style that had never been done before. Before him, if you were going to draw Superman lifting a car, Superman was on this 2D feel where his feet and his head and his arms were on the same distance from your eyes, so he's picking something up like that. Jack Kirby drew something where somebody's flying at you, where the hand has to be the biggest, then the head, then the foot is back there, so it's smaller. He's like action scenes coming towards you. Jack Kirby was the one that started doing that, and he didn't even do his practice lines, the gestural lines to get it down. He just started drawing and was like, all right, ink this motherfucker. Stan? Yeah, fuck you, because he hated Stan Lee.
Apparently,
Jack Kirby was an asshole in all rights to the idea.
He's brilliant. He deserves to be on the Mount Rushmore of comic books. I don't want to sit down with a beer with him.
Oh,
yeah. Even a lot of the things, like, because we had this whole conversation last time.
I mean, I would sit down with a beer with anybody, but you know.
And me and Josh have talked about it more and more over the past few weeks, but. Is that an insult?
It was meant.
You take it how you want. But
Christ, put that lattice up by yourself. But Jack Kirby, like people who knew Jack Kirby literally came out about him after like he'd passed on and was like, yeah, he lied about a lot of shit. Like he just get real pissed off about stuff and he'd be like, I created this and I created that, and like Stan Lee, fuck him, he wasn't doing it. Oh, wow. Like I was doing all of it. And so many people would come out and be like, yeah, Jack Kirby lied about that. Like he literally would wait for the cameras to turn off and then be like, nah, I didn't create the Spider-Man name. That was Stan.
Just so it's like entirely clear, I was joking and I did not mean to get into a conversation like this.
Yeah, but this is my heart and soul.
Well,
I knew you were joking.
Yeah, I just don't want.
You gave me an opportunity to talk about Stan Lee and Jack Kirby.
When this is inevitably a reel or a TikTok, just like to make it perfectly clear, I didn't do it on purpose.
I don't think it's short enough to be a reel or a TikTok.
Parts of it
probably going to be a clip.
Yeah.
Can we make an 8-second short on YouTube and TikTok real quick to just point out that Kyle Roebuck fucking hates Stan Lee for no reason.
Yeah, not at all.
And I just want to say fuck Kyle Roebuck.
That's okay. You're not the first person to say that. That's all right. Anyway,
all I need to go is find the.
I say anyway a lot.
I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to go back to like the hour and 5-minute mark where fucking Kyle was like fuck Jack, fuck Stan Lee. I fucked it up.
Yeah, I said he's a piece of shit.
I'm gonna find that part where he says Stan Lee's a piece of shit. Then I'm gonna clip it to you saying exactly what you just said.
Yeah.
I hope that Bruce Banner has cut off and separated from the Hulk. I don't think that's what's happening.
Like what happens? What happens in that case? Like is Hulk just out there?
Yeah, that happens in the comics.
Just like a fucking just a madman out
and
there.
Bruce Banner is now a broken scientist who is like tragic minded, but he's just a scientist. He's a brilliant mind. And Hulk goes on a fucking rampage for a while.
It feels like Banner should probably be like incarcerated for that.
Yeah, it gets worse. Fast forward in the future, and like Hulk is a fucking hillbilly living out in the Hicks like a redneck with a bunch of babies, and he's created a bunch of more Hulks.
That runs into the Logan,
Old Man Logan,
the Old Man Logan storyline. Yeah,
and the Old Man Hawkeye, and the whole and it eventually gets to the point where Hulk takes over and is a king, and he calls himself Maestro. And at this point, he's old, but he is like legit boss mode, way stronger than any Hulk we've ever seen. And to a point where like he's almost this like, even though he's this earth-born entity of a superhero, turn whatever, he's almost seen as like this cosmic entity where throughout the universe, like he's like the one you got to worry about to a point. And there's even a comic where Thanos sends Punisher as Ghost Rider to go get Maestro, and Thanos wants to like turn Maestro into like a pet. It's crazy.
Comic books are so like
weird.
They're just coming up with random shit.
That's the cosmic Ghost Rider line.
Yeah,
with Cosmic Thanos. Is that what he's called?
It gets weird, but all I'm saying is for a long time, like Hulk is separated.
All right, guys. So that is the end of part 1 of a very long podcast. Me, Bryton, and Josh talked for about 2.5 hours about this stuff. So that's the end of part 1. Part 2 is going to be coming out next week or in the next couple of weeks. We're not really sure yet. So just make sure you're following Bryton and Josh on social media. They're going to be linked in the show notes and all that. Make sure you're following Small Stuff Podcast on Instagram for updates on different stuff that we're doing. Store might be opening back up soon with some very limited little trinkets for people who've been following the podcast for a while now. I think that's it. We'll see you guys next time.